Okay, hello. Welcome to episode 4 of Shit I Make My Family Watch, a podcast where I make my family and friends watch crappy horror and sci-fi movies so you don't have to. I'm your host, Desiree, and join me this week is author and Unveiling Nightmares editor, Kisto Healy. Hello.
Hi.
I give you a detailed breakdown of the storyline of this piece of crap as best I can, and then I rate these movies on the shit scale of 1 to 5, 1 being a little shitty, 5 being the worst pile of crap I've ever seen in my life. Today's piece of crap is the 2011 release of 2012 Zombie Apocalypse, starring the glorious Ving Rhames. And we're going to spoil this one, so if you're going to watch it, you may as well turn it off now, but I actually think you should still watch it anyway, at least the first half. And we're just going to jump right into it. So the first 5 minutes of this movie is them info dropping everything that's happened from the first infection to 6 months later. And it's a lot, and it's stupid because it goes from first infection to them detonating EMPs, which do nothing against zombies.
I was wondering that too. I was like, wait, why did they think that would help?
I understood everything.
We're going to kill these zombies' cell phones.
Yeah. And so I don't know what the EMP detonation was supposed to do except end humanity, I guess.
Exactly.
So that's 6 months in, and then it drops you to who I thought were going to be the protagonists of the movie, a group that were hiding out in a remote cabin who journey into town to raid a car repair shop vending machine very loudly for snacks, and are not. I just thought it was funny that the two guys are like banging around in there and she's yelling, and they're clearly not listening to her at all. But you would think when there's zombies around, don't you think if someone was like, hey, you would immediately turn and be like, what? But there was none of that. They were like completely ignoring her. So anyway.
The thing that really got to me is they kept saying to people like, you got to be stealthy. Stealth matters more than anything. It's all about stealth. And then every single area they entered, they were like, are there any humans here? Hello, humans?
That's what my 17-year-old pointed out. She's like, he keeps telling everyone to be quiet, and then he immediately yells 2 seconds later.
Exactly.
So only certain people have to be quiet. And so obviously within the first few minutes of them banging around this garage, the guy gets eaten. So he's no longer a main character. And it's left with the, what show was he in? I don't remember. The black guy with the big hair.
Darnell from My Name is Earl.
Yes. Yeah. So we're left with him.
He was great on that, actually.
The Southern gal, I just forgot. It's not Tara, is it?
Taryn Manning? Yeah.
Yes, Taryn Manning. So you'd think those two would be the main characters in this. And but apparently they are not. They get found out at the same time with a military group of
Is it a
survivors. Zombie? I don't know. We're gonna find out. With Ving Rhames, who is not the leader of this military group walking through. So they decide to invite the 2 people with them so they can journey to the island of Catalina, which is a human safe zone. But from my understanding, this was set in Iowa, where there's a distinct lack of islands. I mean, I've never been to Iowa, but I don't think they're known for their islands. So I'm not sure where they were walking. Like it shows them journeying all the way through, and I don't know where they were. They ended up somewhere with a port. So I guess I should have got my map out. And then they head to a diner for the night, and I believe the character's name is Julian. He's the one who makes a lot of jokes and tells poetry, and he was actually pretty good. He starts feeding a stray dog, which they didn't even have enough budget in this to have an actual dog on the set. It was just like added film of a dog in the distance. and he was like throwing granola down the street for it, and it would like pitch to the same scene of this dog in the distance, which made me really sad because I was hoping there was going to be a dog. And so they get to the diner, and they go out, and the dog is clearly growling at them, and he's like, no, it's fine. And then it attacks them. because apparently now animals can be zombies, and that's where they find that out. And I think that was the only reason for that scene.
Yeah, it's just to set up the ending. But but when he's like, "Oh, it's not a zombie, it's just Julian's dog," and it's like,
right?
Would you look at that dog and be like, "It's just a dog"? It's probably
that CGI
fine.
dog was rough, like real rough. It looked like all of the CGI in this looks very fuzzy, like extra fuzz on all of it. I don't understand. It's not even that long ago.
I think they were just trying to mask the fact that it was bad by making it really blurry.
They failed. They failed that one. So
but
after
most sci-fi channel CGI is really bad. So
I just watched Icy Cyclone, and that was actually not bad CGI, but it was a stupid movie. It was an ice cyclone. That's a different one. I am not on a roll with movies lately. I don't think anyone died at the diner. I'm pretty sure no one did, but they did end up killing the zombie dog, which was sad, but it wasn't a real dog, so it didn't make me as sad as it normally does. And then they were headed to the next safe zone, which is ironically called the human safe zone at the high school. There's like signs everywhere that say human safe zone, and you're like, I don't think that's what that is. Pretty clearly.
For all those reading zombies.
Yeah. And then just outside of the signs, there's bodies lying all over the place. So of course they go in, and you never really find out what happened. It's just kind of overrun, and then they end up they like fight a bunch of them, and the guy from My Name is Earl ends up getting eaten, and then Taryn ends up killing somebody.
But you're missing a huge plot point right there, which was that the zombies were hiding to ambush them.
That's right. You're right.
Which was proof that the zombies were evolving and learning and becoming smarter and tactical.
I did not catch that.
Which did not really come back or have any purpose in the movie. But
that's a minor plot point. It's a passing plot point. No, I didn't catch that in there. I just saw it as sort of a place for the other important death to happen. And I feel like that's kind of where they switched from having Taryn and her group be the protagonist to the other girl who's carrying the long sword, and not Ving Rhames when it should have been, because you had so much like golden opportunity there. But he had so few lines in this.
The best Ving Rhames moment in the whole movie is when he's like, "I found it." And they're like, "What?" And then he pulls out spaghetti and sauce, and he's like, "Family dinner."
I think I was looking away for that one. That was at the diner, wasn't it? I bet.
Yeah.
No. Well, and he's got that big hammer. I do think that that was, because I made a note about that, and they were talking about how they found each other in the beginning. And it was Ving Rhames' story was they found him with 100 smashed zombies around him. And he goes, "They killed my horse." And I'm like,
yeah, that was the same scene with the spaghetti.
Oh, okay. I just missed the spaghetti part, but I'm like trying to picture Ving Rhames on a horse. Like that's not.
Well,
I don't.
Julian says that must have been a big ass horse.
Yeah, the Clydesdale. But then he's carrying around that big hammer, which I thought was a pretty neat weapon. And I don't think. Someone asked me if there was like any subtle hints towards Dawn of the Dead, but I didn't catch any.
No, but I will say that on Prime, as soon as the movie ended, another really bad movie started called Dawning of the Dead.
I think ours turned into Icy Cyclone.
I stopped it.
That was my next slide.
So I could be here, but I'm sure it would
I
have
can
been
let you go if you want to watch that one. It sounds important.
Dawning.
So
Dawning of the
Dead. I wonder if that's a knockoff of Dawn of the Dead.
It has to be. I'm sure.
I don't know. I think that's a far superior zombie movie. Plus, Ving Rhames gets a ton of speaking lines in that one.
Oh, in the Dawn of the Dead reboot, you mean?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
I
I
think
have like a
his
DVD
acting
collector's edition.
performance is directly related to his mustache. So just I'm putting it out there for sci-fi. Like maybe he just needs a mustache for these things to go well. So the high school was supposed to be the safe zone. It was not the safe zone. They lose another member, and then I'm pretty sure the group sort of splits up a little. They get separated at that point.
And you know, there's the whole thing, like the whole beginning, the whole way there. They keep finding these arrows and zombies that are dead with arrows, and it seems like it's going to be like this big plot thing, and it's just the next group that they find, and they're like, oh, we were an archery team, like the end.
I did enjoy the archery team's outfit that they felt like they needed to wear in the apocalypse. It was very like Robin Hood-esque for no reason. Everybody else was in like tactical gear, and they're wearing like green nets and khakis, and I'm not really sure what the point of that was. But yeah, I only remember seeing one zombie with an arrow in it before that point.
Well, they made references like, we've been seeing them all the way. You know, the first one we saw was when we blah, 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 and people were heading east and they told us this and blah. And yeah, they kept talking about it. Like maybe they didn't have the budget for more arrow zombies.
More than one arrow zombie. Yeah, I just know that the plot point was like, why didn't you go for him? Because there was like 5 zombies in the way, and he was all the way across the gym, and Terrence's character was very upset about that, which I think is interesting because later they go, I mean, they're like across the whole city, and they're like, no, we're coming for you, but they couldn't cross a room to help this guy.
Well, I mean, realistically, if it was the zombie apocalypse and somebody I love dearly is on the other side of the room and they get engulfed by zombies that are biting them, I'm not going to run over there. I'm not going to be like, oh, I better save them. No, they're gone. They're becoming a zombie. Even if you get them out, it's over. You run the hell away. Like, that's, sorry.
I agree if you can see they're being bitten, but there was a whole 5 minutes where he's just yelling for help, and they're like, oh, you're too far away. Like, we can't make it. But then they make a real concerted effort later.
But the whole thing with like Taryn in that scene was really weird too, because she saw him yelling like first, and then she ran away from everyone, and
I didn't know that she saw him.
Yeah, and then she starts yelling to them, help him, go help him. It's like, why don't you can go help him? What are you doing?
Well, they really had to pay attention to her killing that one zombie. It must have been her first kill or whatever.
Then she goes in there and she's getting stalked by that zombie, and then kills him. And then she just like sulks about it. It's like, everyone's fighting. They've killed all these zombies, you know? And then she's like, there's a zombie. I had to kill it. So I did. And it's like, what?
It was a pretty good reenactment.
Like, I would have been like, yeah, okay.
What have you been doing for 6 months? Like, this is 6 months in by now. That should be pretty old hat. Yeah. So
also, you ran away, and we were killing lots of zombies. So, like, we don't really give a shit, you know? Like,
he also didn't. You know, you knew he was doomed in the beginning when he was shaking that vending machine so loud. That's what happens when you ignore your girlfriend when she says something to you. You get to die in the 3rd scene of the movie.
Well,
you get to tell us what happens after the school.
Oh. Let me think. After the school was well, that's when they met the archery team, right? And
yes.
And they you know, they had a little moment of connection, like Julian flirted with one of the girls over there for 5 seconds. Then they saw the like a comet or something, and they're like, what do you think that is? And they're like, a space station, maybe. I hope it's not. I hope it's not the space station. Maybe it's the satellite. I don't know. And they never actually give you an answer. So
that's what I thought.
And
maybe.
then
I thought maybe there's a zombie movie with a comet, and I thought maybe that had something to do with like, because the zombie infection, when it takes hold, looks like little worms under your skin, which was kind of a weird way to go with it. And I thought, oh, maybe they're connected, but they never referenced that again.
But you know, like in the first scene of this movie, when like they're doing the how the whole world ended in June recap you were talking about, they show a close-up of like the face with the worms under the skin or whatever, and it's like, hey, that's pretty cool. And then you never really see that again for the rest of the movie. Like, they had that had potential to like make some really creepy, gross scenes, and they just didn't use it.
Yeah, because they never really showed anybody like doing the whole changeover. They would make sure they killed them off before they woke up.
And off camera.
Yeah.
Like, there's one scene where like she's trying to like kill her friend who turns or whatever, and you don't even see her sword. She's just like this on the camera, and you just hear and it's like, I guess she's killing him. I guess
they did to show the CGI like cut half of the head off kind of scenes from far away, though.
Oh yeah, and she would slit people's throats and zombies' throats. Yeah,
just a little bit, and then the head would fall off.
Yeah, I was like, how does that work?
Also, not
is that
efficient.
A magic sword?
Yeah, like you just get it started, and the gravity does the rest, I guess.
Yeah,
but
I guess.
I didn't understand that part, but I felt like she was a pretty clear knockoff of Michonne from The Walking Dead, along with all of their outfits and stuff.
Who, is a fantastic actor, which is, I think, why that character became so popular. Michonne, I mean.
Yeah, no, I know. You're not talking about that sci-fi lady.
But so they go to, I think they're trying to go somewhere. I don't know.
They're trying to get to the port.
To the porch? Oh, the port.
To the port.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
to go, the boat.
but they're trying to go to oh man, what the hell's the name of the place? They're through the whole movie. They're Catalina. Yeah, that's it. But for some reason they stop at a house where there's like smoke, and they're like, "Are those humans?" And they're like, "I don't know." "Hey, are you guys humans?" And then they're like, "Wait, stop!" And like all these zombies come out, and and that's
unnecessary.
That's when they meet the other people, and they have the big fight, and then they run out of all their ammo, and they end up like in the van or whatever with these new people, the archery team. And then, they have their moment of connection, and then something, I forget what even happens, that they get separated. But then Ving Rhames goes after Sword Girl, and everybody else is still together.
Yeah.
And then like they're like, we have to go back, and they're like, no. And then Ving Rhames, like, Sword Girl's like, we should go back, and he's like, no. And then they're like, we'll all meet up, and then they do all meet up, so that's good, except for the one who dies. And then his death, it was Julian's death, was, he had like a bite, and he's like, finish my poetry book or whatever, like write it all down. And then he dies, and the girl that he just met, that he flirted with one time for 5 seconds, is like sobbing. And I'm like, wow, she was really affected by him in those like 10 seconds.
You gotta move fast in the apocalypse. Those the 20 seconds they knew each other. So much potential was lost. Weren't they hiding from something in the van? Like that's why they got in the van.
Yeah, they got trapped. They were like surrounded. And then Sword Girl and Ving Rhames, who ended up like in the same area, just like a block over or something, she throws a hand grenade. Actually, she rolls it across the ground like 5 feet in front of her, and then somehow is safe. But that explosion clears the zombies that were surrounding the van, so then they can get out.
It's the horns, the air horns that they're using. They roll the cans out to get the zombies to.
Yeah, no, they did that in the beginning, and Julian says like, "This is my last air horn," when the one time he does it. So,
never mind. I thought that was a bigger part of the story.
This one is a hand grenade, and she strikes a pose like she's like Elektra or something, and like rolls it across the ground, and it rolls like 5 feet, and then they cut to her like ducking, and everything blows up, and then all the zombies that were surrounding the van with the other group go away because of the explosion, so then they can get out of the van. So they helped each other when they weren't together without knowing where the other person was. So that
I don't think I've ever seen zombies run away from an explosion. I feel like they all kind of
that's what I mean. They're the zombies that were surrounding the van with the whole group inside it left because of the explosion.
I see what you're saying.
From Sword Girl, who was with Ving Rhames. So she helped them and didn't even know she helped them. It was just kismet or something. And then something happens after that. I kind of forget. I just remember when they all get to the port and everything smells really bad and there's body parts everywhere, and they realize that like the bodies are being lifted, and they're like, never seen a zombie lift bodies before,
or take them or drag them around or whatever.
And then because they're being lifted to the top of the shipping containers, and then it turns out it's a CGI zombie tiger. So and we get the best line of Ving Rhames' career, which is meow meow, bitch.
Yeah, that is the one line in my notes in my phone. It's just meow, bitch. That's the one you got to give him, I guess. But that was the best line of the whole movie. I didn't have anything else. That made me sad that was they left it for the very last CGI tiger too, which looked more like a kitten, like in shape.
The face was really bad. It was
it was middle school CGI computer lab homework, extra credit.
Exactly.
Sci-fi style.
It was not fantastic.
Somehow he ends up, doesn't he get bit by the tiger?
Well, here's the weird thing. Like, the tiger barrels into him. It, like, hits him, and he flies into a bunch of crates. And then he stands up, and he's, like, holding his neck. And there's some blood on his neck. And then he's, like, he sees the tiger's about to go get Sword Girl, and he's got his sledgehammer, and he's like, I'm not done with you, bitch. And like throws his sledgehammer, and it just manages to like have perfect trajectory and it hit the moving tiger in the head. And even though it's been shot, stabbed, drowned, everything, and nothing killed it. That one strike from the sledgehammer crushes its skull and it's dead. And then she runs over to Ving Rhames, and I looked because when he was like earlier, I was like, did he get bit or did he get scratched or did he just like hurt himself during the fall? So I was looking, and there's actually no wound. He's just got like two spots of blood, some blood splash. And then he's like, dude, let me turn. And I'm like, from what? Apparently blood splatter kills you in this movie.
I think they're going like Walking Dead style where you're already infected. And then when you die, you turn. Or they just didn't have enough prosthetics left to like slap a bite on there. Hoped you weren't going to look that close.
Well, then keep your hand on it.
Right.
Like don't let the audience see that there's no wound there.
Yeah. Well, they didn't flash anything below this either. So like, and he dies real quick. Just enough to say his last few words, and then like, not like Julian.
Yeah. And then she ends him before he turns off camera again. Like it with just sound effects. Like they don't even show, her getting him in the skull or anything like it. Yeah, it's really like they were like, hey man, we had a CGI tiger. We've got no money left.
That's the end of the budget.
Did you guys see that tiger? It's fucking incredible.
I'm gonna find a picture. I gotta put it in somewhere. I can't describe the face, but it looked like
it kind of looks like the ocelot from Minecraft.
The ocelot? I didn't know they had an ocelot. I haven't seen that. I haven't had to look at Minecraft. Yeah, and like my kids are too old for Minecraft now.
Ah, see, Bo's just getting started.
Oh, we're into Roblox and.
He's not allowed to play Roblox. So
that's smart. My 17-year-old can do pretty much whatever she wants now. I can't keep her off of the Roblox. So.
And my my kid who's about to turn 17, he still loves Minecraft, but he watches like these live streams where they're like soap operas, where like all the characters go like into the Minecraft world and they have like storylines and relationships and I don't know.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, and he watches it. Yeah, for sure. And there's known like favorite actors and characters, and like it's viral. And like there was this big like season finale, and at one point, and he like got snacks and was like, a shirt and a poster and things, and was like all ready, and like, and he was like, you don't understand, this is like it's like the equivalent of the Super Bowl. It's just for Minecraft. And I was like,
Minecraft?
I
had no
idea.
Man. That's awesome.
As long as if you're having a good time and you're this happy, like, awesome.
I don't think I will be Googling that. I already I have enough. Like, you go down a rabbit hole, you're never going to get out. So Ving Rhames dies, and then very abruptly, I feel like the movie starts to come to a close with really no resolution.
No, not at all. Well, the ferry comes.
Mm-hmm.
It's really funny because they're like, we gotta wait on the ferry now. Do you think it'll actually come? And then they're like, on the ferry. So it's like, it
would have been a better ending if it didn't come and they got eaten by zombies. Like, or it's like today is Wednesday. The ferry comes on Wednesday and it's actually like Thursday. They have to wait a whole week.
Yeah. Or I mean, that would have, they could have kept going with that. Or if they were like, the ferry comes and they like get on board and everybody's dead on the ferry, and like it's just like maybe it's full of zombies, and they're like, "Yeah, the ferry," and they get on, they get mobbed by zombies. That would have been cool, you know.
Probably
Like
zombie seagulls flying down, infecting everybody on the ship.
like which Romero movie was it? Was it Survival of the Dead, where they're
With
all
the
trying to get
animals.
to that island?
Oh,
Through the whole movie, they're trying to get to an island, and then at the end, they finally get there and realize it's not safe at all, and the whole thing
that's
is to
Dawn of
like
the Dead. At the end,
that
they
was
get to they're getting to the guy's boat to get to the island, and then as soon as they get there, all these zombies run out,
that was
and it's like
Dawn. That was the
interspersed with a film from the captain and his girlfriends on the boat.
it's hard for me to remember. I've watched like it all blurs together at this point.
Survival of the Dead might have a similar plot. That I have is that the one with John Leguizamo?
No, that was Land of the Dead.
Okay.
See, this is what I'm saying.
I'm gonna have to. I love Romero movies too much to put them in this shitty podcast because even if they are terrible, I still love them.
Yeah,
but,
no,
I can't always tell them all apart.
I absolutely love them. Survival of the Dead, I think, was the last one. Like the last one he ever made.
Before yeah, that sounds right.
I even like his vampire movie, Martin. If you ever watched that,
he has a vampire movie.
Yeah, it's really good.
No,
I own it. It's called Martin.
Is it Martin?
Yeah.
I have never heard of that. Now I'm gonna write it down though.
Yeah, definitely watch it.
Martin. And another thing, she keeps mentioning her husband is on. Her husband's the one who told her about Catalina. And her husband's waiting for her on Catalina.
I'm so glad you brought that up because, she has the emotional thing, and you think that the husband died, because she gets all emotional. They're talking at the diner over the spaghetti dinner, and then Ving Rhames is like, "Can we just talk about something else?" And then when her and him are walking together towards the port or whatever, she's like, when we get to Catalina, we're going to find civilization again. He's like, yeah, I hope so. And then she's like, and that means we're also going to find my husband. And, me and you. And he's like, you're going to be happy to see him, right? That means I'm going to be happy too. And then you're like, okay, you're setting something up here. Like, she's going to...
I don't think I caught that. Like, they had a thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. No, I missed that. I know that her husband was supposed to be on the island. That was...
Right. So then she's like, what's going to happen, like, when we get back to my husband and I'm with you? And he's like, I'll be happy for you to be with your husband. And then it's like, none of that matters. It amounts to nothing.
Well, that was stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, well that just wrapped up. That makes sense now. I didn't hear that part. The problem was I kept looking at my phone. I could not pay attention to this one. Like after the first half, when they started to segue into whatever they were doing with all the Lost Boys group and all these different people, they were all dressed like Peter Pan characters, especially the one with the big hair. Like, it's the end of the world, and you just grab all the hair gel you can, and you run around like
why
that.
Not? Why not?
That's
honestly,
true.
like,
if
I'm being real, like, if it's the end of the world and I know like shit don't matter no more, like, I'm gonna be fabulous. I'm gonna go get everything I can, and I'm gonna do it up. I will be like the drag queen apocalypse. Like, this is kind of like...
I am the opposite. I told my kids I wanted sweatpants and comfy t-shirts, like no bra, just the comfiest, because it doesn't matter. I don't want to have to do anything. But then I was like,
well, that's the whole thing. It doesn't matter, and you don't have to worry about how much anything costs. So, like, heck yeah.
So I should support her overuse of hair gel. It just seemed like a lot for that because she looked very like the kid that got electrocuted in Jurassic Park for no reason, and everybody else looked totally normal. But I think that's just how that lady does her hair in general. So the boat comes, and then that's the end. They don't wrap it up. You don't get to see the island.
That's just it.
You never get any other answers. Does she see her husband? We don't know. Is there a second one? I didn't look. I didn't look.
No, I don't think so.
Well, apparently someone pointed out they made a second House of the Dead, and I didn't think that was like you.
I pointed that out. I was like, I said I would not come on this show if we were going to have to watch House of the Dead 2. And then you were like, that doesn't exist. They'll never make that. And I'm like, what? It's already been made.
I had no idea.
And Chuck was like, I was about to say, I've seen that piece of shit movie.
Now, but I'm going to have to watch it because I have to see if it was as good as the first one.
Where the people, like the zombies, like turn into video game graphics when you kill them?
In the second one? In the first one, it's like cut scenes of video game and then actual zombies walking around. It can't get worse.
It's like they would like shoot the zombie and then it would be like the zombie getting shot from the video game.
Oh, yeah. They did do that cut scene. Or like the spin around. I'm hoping there's more of that in the second one because that was amazing.
Awful. That was awful.
It took a really long time for every single person to do a thing. Like,
it didn't look good.
No.
Like, did they watch that back afterwards and they were like, hell yeah, this is
I bet he did. After everyone had me watching his like outside videos and stuff, I feel like that's exactly what he said. He was like, yes.
Were those by the dude that made a living off of making video game horror movies?
I know that he made a bunch of shitty movies on purpose.
All his movies are terrible, and there was actually a written petition like trying to get him to stop.
I would sign
people
that.
Were like, it had. They were like, 100%. Please stop ruining our favorite video games. And he was like, I'm not going to because it doesn't cost me anything, and I make tons of money off of it. So
yes,
but like he made the Alone in the Dark movies, which somehow landed Christian Slater.
Okay, I have seen that one. One of them.
And Blood Rain, which was one of my favorite video games ever.
Did you watch that? And movie?
The movies. It wasn't just one. He made several. There was one it took place in the Old West.
No, I just saw the one, and that was enough. Like,
yeah, no, they're all. There's so many levels of bad.
He's going to be a repeat offender on this, I can tell already, but I'm not looking forward to watching any more of those. What would you rate this on the pile of shit scale? So 1 is only a little shitty, 5 is like T-Rex style pile of crap.
You know, there's enough good sprinkled in here that I think really it'd just be like 3. I would say only 2, but the ending was so bad that I had to mark it up to 3.
It's pretty bad on the scale.
That's but it's not 4 or 5.
So your level for shit watching you're a lot higher. Like you're willing to watch much more shit, I think, over and over again.
Yeah. I enjoy
it. I rated it a 1.735 out of 5.
1.735?
Yes, very technical. Because if it came on again, I would leave it on. If I was like laying in bed or something. Whew, that was a bug. And but I would not turn it on again on purpose. Like I'd leave it on for a second rewatch, wouldn't put it on purpose. So 1.735 out of 5.
There are like. I do get caught in a lot of bad movies on Tubi because it's like YouTube where the next one just starts. Mm-hmm. So like it could just go all day and like I don't ever stop it.
Prime and Hulu do the same thing, and that's how I end up finding a lot of really weird ones. Yeah. Or my husband now, he goes through and he's like, this looks like one you're going to make me watch. And I'm like, you're correct, sir. That's great. Just add that to the list. But he's the one who made us watch Hell Comes to Frogtown, if you haven't seen that. Have you ever seen that before?
I have. Yes.
I didn't even have words for the first half of that movie. I'm still processing like what I even feel about that. But I keep recommending it to people, so I must like it a little bit.
I was gonna say, like, and that if you have to like think and process, like, I feel like that's a good sign.
It. Yeah, I think so. I think deep down I do enjoy it. I just am not. I'm not ready to talk about it yet all the way. Just gonna keep telling everybody else to watch and be like, "What do you think?"
I'm waiting for the next therapy session.
Okay, are you ready for some questions?
Sure. Yeah.
Good, because you have to do it anyway. What is your favorite shitty movie?
Oh man. Wow, there's so many shitty movies I enjoy. Oh gosh, I don't know. I can't sit here all day. I guess the first one that comes to my head is The Stuff, where the yogurt comes to life.
Okay,
and
that's on my list.
It's a newer one. It's a great, terrible movie.
That one looked good though, so I didn't think it was going to make the cut for this one. I think it's a horror comedy.
It is, and it's satire, and it's like it's ridiculous and silly, and it's old, but I don't know, it has charm.
The Stuff. I'm writing that on my list too.
There's a lot of good bad zombie movies and a lot of good bad werewolf movies. Like,
we were talking about that.
The one that I mentioned in the chat today, Big Bad Wolf, from 2006. That movie, the acting is not great. The movie's campy. It's a little bit ridiculous, but it's so fun, and the werewolf, making shit talking the people he's killing and eating is fantastic. You don't really get that anywhere else. So
I think the last werewolf one I watched was the Dog Soldiers one.
Oh, that's a legit good movie though.
It was okay. I like the guy that they picked for that one, so it was watchable, but I didn't get to pay attention to the dialogue, so I felt like I missed a lot of storyline. So that one's, I think, a rewatch. But I don't have a lot of werewolf in the mix. I need more, because you don't see a lot. Only American Werewolf in London is the one that pops up the most often.
Oh, that's the one everyone talks. Yeah, but there's so much good. My absolute favorite is the Ginger Snaps trilogy.
Yes. Yeah,
it's all really good. And then there's one called Late Phases, which is a really good one. But these are good. These are legit good movies, not like good bad movies.
Not shitty good movies.
No.
All right. What is the worst movie you've ever seen?
I've seen. That's not really fair, because I've seen so many like really bad movies. Like, there's Tubi has no quality control. Like, you could go from watching something pretty decent to watching something filmed on a camcorder in somebody's backyard. Like.
Okay, so what's your least favorite movie? Movie you hate?
Is a blockbuster. Magnolia. I despise that movie with my entire self.
I don't think is that have Tom Cruise?
It does, yeah.
Maybe I have seen it then. It doesn't sound like a winner. I can't remember a thing about it, so it must have been amazing.
It's you know, for the it same as this movie. Like in the first half, it seems pretty good, and it's like a 3.5 hour movie. So you know, the first half is like the length of a movie, and it sets up like all these different storylines. So you're like really interested in all the characters and everything, and then like 2 hours later, you don't get like any resolution to anything. It rains frogs. It rains fucking frogs. Literally, literally, frogs rain from the sky.
Maybe I haven't seen this because I don't remember that. That's fun.
Was it fun?
Not for you.
Because
maybe not.
It was going on hour 4, and I was in the movie theater, and this was before they had like reclinable seats, and
okay.
And I was just mad. I was just mad. I was like,
all right, I'm gonna put that off my list then. Magnolia. What kind of horror genre is your favorite, and what is your favorite way to get it? Books, audiobooks, magazines, in person.
I want all of it. I love all of it. I want all of it. I want to consume it with every sense, and I want to hear it, see it, read it. I'd taste it. Give me some horror taste. You know, horror cookbook or something. You can taste it.
It's mostly dead stuff.
Or maybe like, how about we start making splatterpunk scratch and sniff books? I'll buy it.
Oh, no, hard pass. I'm gonna hard pass that one. Ew. Okay, so you don't have a favorite in the genre of horror. It's just all of it.
No, I love all of it. I really do. I would be happy to, like, you know, be doing chores with an audiobook playing and then stop them and go to the bathroom and read my book and then get out of the bathroom and sit down and watch a horror movie. Like,
that sounds amazing. That sounds perfect. What would you like to see more of in horror? What do you feel like needs more focus or is an untapped horror market? Or underrepresented?
You know, I feel like there's so much if you actually explore like indie horror that it's all there somewhere.
Yeah.
There's not really much anymore.
Except for werewolves. We need more werewolf.
I mean, there's a lot. It's just most of it's really bad. more good werewolf stuff would be nice. How about a modern day mummy movie that's a horror and not a corny adventure movie?
Yeah.
Or
that was my first scary was the Goosebumps the Mummy when I was like really little.
Yeah.
That was my segue, and then I went from that to Stephen King, and it was a pretty big jump. But that one was a good book.
You know, I was reading Samurai Cat when my brother took it from me and gave me a Dean Koontz book, and it was one of Dean Koontz's old books where he was actually writing horror. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was really dark, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And yeah, I've never looked back. So
there is no going back after that.
I would like to see some more there's a lot of times in horror movies, like if there's an LGBT element, it feels like forced or like put there, you know, for ratings or something. Like I'd like to see more like just natural, realistic LGBT elements in mainstream horror.
And in books or in movies?
Well, in movies, you can find it in books. I write it myself, but
Mm-hmm.
but in movies, especially like the bigger movies, like if you want to find LGBT horror, like you have to like go to like this section of specific LGBT horror, and like
Mm-hmm.
everybody's, it's like a cover where everybody's naked, and like, and it's like, it's like, why does it have to be, can't we just like have LGBT people in a regular horror movie like that straight people will also watch and enjoy, like
Mm-hmm.
uh I just want to see more of that. Just honest inclusion, I think.
I agree with that. Can you tell us a little bit about your work, either upcoming works or ones that have recently come out you feel like need a little more spotlight? You write a book every 5 seconds, so there's probably 50 in your back pocket you're ready to tell everybody about.
Yeah, that's the hard thing. I've got I just put out Devil's Treasure with Dan Schrader, and then I put out Toxic Maternal, the beginning, with C.A. Bainham, and then I have another book with her coming out next month, which is a werewolf book, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that. It's on my list.
And then I have if I can stop editing other people's books and finish my own, I have I have a book that'll be coming out, which is kind of like a zombie apocalypse book, but it's also a killer insect book.
Okay.
And
The blending of genres.
Yeah, I wrote it a long time ago, and it really messed with my head. And my ex actually like made me stop writing it because I was like having her check my hair and scratching at myself, and
Oh,
like, yeah, it was
okay.
bad.
That's
So I went back and finished it, and now I'm just editing it to finally release it, like whatever it is, 14 years later or something. So there's that, and then I've got Gasp. It's an anthology with Judith Sonnet and a bunch of really good people, mostly like splatter authors, but writing quiet horror. So it's a cool concept in that regard. And
what is
then
quiet horror?
quiet horror is where it's not for it's not for gore. It's not like in your face. It's just atmospheric and creepy, and gets under your skin and doesn't need like a chainsaw wielding maniac to scare you. Actually, like, that's one of the reasons I love Asian horror as far as movies, because
Yes,
uh, it is more
that's a
like
good
that,
example.
like the
Mm-hmm.
the quiet horror element, where like if you're not looking at the screen, you might actually miss something terrifying. Like there was one movie I was watching where it was at a funeral and people were standing around talking, and in the side view mirror on the car, you can see like the ghost. So like if you were just listening to the conversation and not looking up at the screen at that second, you would have missed that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so if you can, put that kind of horror into writing and just like create an atmosphere and get under people's skin, that I think that's what this anthology does, and it's killing it
Sounds
on the
cool.
charts. So that's really cool.
Did you say you had
Um,
another one?
and then there's the re-release of Splatology, which is I
Mm.
guess technically Splatology 2.0, but it's got the stuff from the first one with additional authors and stories, and it's going to charity now.
Mm-hmm.
And my story, The Baby Games, is in that one, which is, it's really, it's kind of like the baby version of the Squid Games. It's a really demented story. But there are people who wanted me to make it into a book, so I almost didn't put it in the anthology. But then I decided, well, let me try it out on the world first and see before I.
So we should be expecting a full length of that one in the next few years.
Yeah,
I mean the next week probably.
And yeah, I've got. I'm actually writing a book as well with Y.M. Miller.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and that's going to be really cool. It's kind of like the storyline is almost like the answer to my book Sam and Milo, because it's well, I don't really want to give it away yet because we're still in the early stages, but it's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be gruesome. If people are looking for nasty, that's the book for it.
I can vouch for that. I'm still messed up from that book. I don't think, like, you guys have ruined me. These books, all these Splatterpunk books, I was not ready. I was not prepared. And I'm like giving these books to my family members. And then as I'm reading, I'm running upstairs like, Mom, don't read past mine. Okay. Like, you got to stay away from the second half of the book because, like, eyeballs. So I got to stop recommending them to people that I know and just stick with people, other authors, I guess, at this point.
Yeah.
Because you guys are fucked up.
Yeah, and
where can people find your stuff? Amazon.
Yeah, and I've got some of it's on Godless. I'm pretty sure all of it's on Amazon. And then, of course, you can go to the Slashik. They have their own store on their website, and you can get some stuff there. And right now, actually, the Books of Horror Facebook group, the Books of Horror LGBT book box, is on sale, and it has a novella from me, Skeletons, in there, which is directly connected to my story in Price Slashers from Slashik. And in a few months, Slashik is going to release a book that's going to have my Price Slashers story, my story from We're Still Here, which is out now as well. I have a story in. And then my story from the LGBT book box, because it's all in the same universe with connecting characters. So it's going to like take all those things and put them together so you can have the full linear storyline connecting all those characters. But if you want to...
something they can order? Like as a group, or do you have to sign up for it?
Huh?
The book box you're talking about, is that something they can order as like a collection?
Yeah. They actually they have a big one that has everything. It's got like 7 different novellas, and actually even my son did a zombie painting that's in there as well. You get an art print, and there's stickers and pins and all kinds of cool merch. So there's one big one that I think is like $65 and has everything. And then for the people who don't want all that, they broke it down into 2 boxes for $35 each. But yeah, get over to Books of Horror and check that out, because there's a bunch of really cool stuff. Angelique Jordana has something in there too. And she and I are also, we're going to have a podcast too, where we talk shit and make people uncomfortable. So,
okay, that's fun.
it's going to be called, This Is Going to Be Hard. So,
pun intended.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
We're just we're just trying to find our first guest right now because we want to make sure we start out with somebody who's a good sport.
Mm-hmm. Someone who gets the puns.
Yeah, we don't want to make everybody else afraid to come on. So if the first person seems like they have a good time, then maybe other people will sign
then it can keep going. What are a few things that you have imbibed in the last week that are not shitty? Some good things you would recommend? Movies, books, cheeseburgers.
Well, I did just finish reading James Cain's My Pet Werewolf, which
I see a theme.
it was, honestly, like it was such a, like, I sighed with relief because I was like, it's finally like what I wanted out of a werewolf book, like it was, there's all these like shifter romance books and stuff. And like, I don't want that. I want somebody who has a curse, who's tortured, who's like trying not to kill people, who wants to know how to fight against the full moon, like give that to me, and
classic
he
werewolf
did in spades. Yeah. And it's also like a coming of age, like high school story too. It's kind of
like My Teenage Werewolf or whatever it is.
Kind of like Ginger Snaps in that sense.
Okay.
It's really good. It's just really good. There's a prequel I haven't read yet, but I'm definitely going to. So yeah, that was awesome. And I haven't watched a lot of horror movies because I don't really get to watch movies by myself a lot lately.
Doesn't have to be horror.
But we just watched a comedy the other day that I was like crying. Like I hadn't laughed that hard in a long time. And like I was like hyperventilating, like where the point where like your laughter becomes coughing, and you're thinking I might actually die here. It was called Quiz Lady. It's on Hulu.
I've never.
I don't even want to say anything about it. It's the type of movie like you should do like I did and just go in blind and laugh your ass off.
That's fair, Quiz Lady. Okay, so like, that's it. I did not actually have anything good this week for shows and movies. It was a lot of shit. That was it. So yeah. I'm gonna use yours.
I feel like there's a lot more that I'm like not thinking of.
It's hard to remember a whole week.
It's hard to remember, an hour ago, honestly.
I agree.
I get so like my son is my world and I love him with my entire heart and soul, but like I am so immersed into his like imaginative playtime all day that like it's hard to like remember reality after that. Mm-hmm. Like I need to like
kid recommendations for movies.
Yeah. What did we just? Oh, me and him just went and saw that. Oh man, what the heck is the name of it now? With the emotions, the feelings.
Inside Out 2.
Yes, and that was a tearjerker. So
that'll fuck you up.
He loved it though. He came home and wanted to watch the first one again, and I was like, "Oh, great," because I want to put myself through that.
But all over again.
Exactly.
Well, that's on my list. I want to see that one. Oh, all right. Well, for books I read this week, I actually read your guys' book. That was on my not shitty list, The Toxic Maternal, The Beginning. It's not shitty, but it's like I recommend it to everybody, but oh my God. Like I wish I had a picture of my face the whole time I was reading it because I was like, Like I kept making these faces, and then I realized I was actually like making the faces and like frowning, and I was reading it in my car, and people probably thought I was crazy. But it's a great book. Very
You really
disturbing.
your review, even though
I literally did have your name in it, and then I saw on the cover it just said Crystal's name, and I was like, oh, maybe I misunderstood. So I edited it after I submitted it to take your name out.
That's hilarious. But I still loved it because you mentioned being affected by the spiders, and like I created that like subplot and weaved it through the whole thing, and I felt like
spiders,
but it was like it. That's the kind of the point, like if that's all you have, what is that? Where does that leave you? And I felt like it was like a subtle emotional way to show the evolution of the character. And so I was like really proud of that part. So when it gets like mentioned in the review, I was like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's mine.
Yeah. So I mean, technically,
that was my favorite part.
That's awesome.
Not the table leg.
And then one of these days, you and I are gonna write something too, right?
Yeah. Well, you've got 17,000 projects. Huh? When you're not busy, when you have it down to like 5,
when I'm not busy,
yeah, then I'll step in with I'm still saving the one with that cover we liked, and we'll figure it out. Because I got 2 chapters in, and I can't multitask like you can. I got to just stick to one at a time.
I have a book. It's a horror comedy that I'm in the process of writing with Angelique Jordana and Donna Latham, D.A. Latham, and that's going to be a lot of fun if Donna will ever write her part. Love you, Donna, but yeah, there's a lot on the horizon. I'm also trying to get to my Green Rain book 4. I already have the cover and the plot and everything. I just have to have a minute to put it down on paper. So,
well, I think that's 9 different projects you just talked about that are still in the works. So,
oh yeah,
I literally don't know how you are doing all of it. That's insane.
If everything goes according to plan, I will have something releasing every month, at least to the end of the year. So,
if not a few a month.
Yeah, point. Well, yeah. If you include the anthologies that come out, then yeah, it'll be a few. And then
we'll call you the busiest man in horror.
Definitely, when it gets to like doing all the editing and everything too, it really is. I'm very busy.
So this is your full-time job, right? You don't have another job on top of this?
No, I couldn't possibly.
I was gonna say I don't, unless you had like a clone in the background you weren't telling anybody about. That's probably the only way it could get done.
Yeah, seriously, the amount of hours I put into this, and then the amount of hours I give to my son, like there's not really anything left. Like I don't get a full night's sleep. Like I live on naps, and then there's like
energy drinks.
Occasionally eating to not die. That's right.
Oh, what happened? Do you need help?
Uh-oh.
Get a paper towel. Sorry, we got a bleeder.
Uh-oh. Well, we've gone over
That's okay.
anyway.
I'm wrapping you up, man. You got to stop telling me about your 70,000 projects, and we're just going to list them out. So I'm gonna link the box you were talking about and a few of the places that people can find you. And then if you want people to know your social media, or if you are a secret,
I'm good with that. I love hearing from people. Yeah, anyone can contact me on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on TikTok now. And it's all just
you sound like an old man. I'm on TikTok now.
I'm on that Tic Tac now. What is it, Tic Tacs? I used to eat Tic Tacs when I was in school. Yeah, no, I have no idea what I'm doing with it, but I'm on there. So.
Okay, I'll link all those in the show notes so everybody can find every single 1,001 of them on there for you. And I appreciate you coming on to talk about shitty movies with me. And I assume this is not going to be the last time, because you just gave me 17,000 other shitty movies to watch in between now and then. So I will return the favor.
If you really want like a list of shitty horror movies, like I can email you a list.
I've got at least 5, 10 on this paper right now. Shitty and not shitty. So
I was going to say, I've mentioned some good ones.
I have to parse them out myself. I can't just take your word for it.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, right? All right. Thank you for being on the show. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this week's piece of shit episode. If you want to email us, oh my God, find us on social media or message us on Instagram at SIMMFW podcast. And we will take into consideration what piece of shit you'd like us to watch. Please go out and watch shitty movies so that you can come talk about them with us. Okay? Thanks. Bye.